Welcome to Daily Maintenance. Today is Saturday, May 24th, 2014. Coming to you today from West Texas. You know how they say everything in Texas is everything's bigger in Texas? Well, it's true because it is. It's a huge place. The West Texas, of course, with a lot of desert and plateaus, and then other parts of Texas are so varied. You have everything from deserts to swamps in this state. Today, our key verse comes out of the book of John, John 14:6, and it reads, no, that's not it. I take that back. What am I doing? Proverbs 25:27. Now it makes sense. Proverbs 25:27 says, "It is not good to eat much honey, nor is it glory to search out one's own glory." Thinking about that, there's kind of two parts to this verse. They don't seem to relate or exactly, but we'll check that out. My computer seems to be having some issues here. Um, Looking at some research material I have here, I brought something up from J. Vernon McGee, who is, if you've been listening long, you know I really respect that man. He has a lot of really great insights. What he says about Proverbs 25:27 says, "A little honey is good, but a lot of honey makes you sick. For a man to be ambitious for self-glory, especially in the ministry of God, makes you sick." We see this around us in the church. There is an inordinate ambition among some Christians today. It makes you sick at your tummy to see this type of thing. That's from J. Vernon McGee. If I look like I'm bouncing around or jiggly, it's because I am. We're live today, or live recorded, in the cab of a truck going down Interstate 10 in Texas, and so the jiggly motion is what you'd expect to see, I suppose. Life Application Study Bible I pick up for the second part of this verse. The first part about honey, talking about it's not good to eat too much honey. The second part of this verse, nor is it glory to search out one's own glory. Well, looking at Life Application Study Bible, it says, dwelling on the honors you deserve can only be harmful. It can only make you bitter, discouraged, or angry, and it will not bring you the rewards you think you should be yours. Pining for what you should have received may make you miss the satisfaction of knowing you did your best. That's from the Life Application Study Bible. You know, I think of some of the promotions I didn't get, some of the rewards I didn't get, the thanks I didn't get. This is what it's talking about, that we shouldn't dwell on these things, or we can become resentful, discouraged, bitter, angry, those sorts of things. Let's look at some related verses today. Proverbs, again out of Proverbs 25:16. It reads, "Have you found honey? Eat only what you need, that you not have it in excess and vomit it." A little graphic. Eat only what you need, but not have it in excess, because you may vomit it. In the Old Testament, honey illustrates natural sweetness. This is a caution against excess. I'm reminded of the time that I went to Golden Corral to eat dinner. I like Golden Corral because I like the meat and all the veggies and the salads. It just goes on. I just love that place. Yeah, I ate my fill, and it was really good. All the salads and the meat and the veggies, and I loved it. But then, at the end, I saw that piece of chocolate cake that had my name on it. You know, the deep, dark chocolate cake with all the dark chocolate icing on it. That looked so good. Well, guess what? I took it and I ate. After that, I didn't feel so good. It was overload. And of course, I suffered accordingly. Well, if you translate this same kind of concept to something much more important, you can see how that relates. Proverbs 27:2 says, "Let another praise you and not your own mouth, a stranger and not your own lips." You know, in our workday world, we may need to account for some of the things we've done or justify it. Um, However, we are not to be conceited or arrogant about it. There's times when, for example, you made a decision to do something, or a situation that you had corrected, and you may have to justify it before uh, those in charge of you, and with explaining, I did what I thought was the right thing to do in this situation. That's not what it's talking about. It's talking about the arrogance. Let's look at this illustration. Again, J. Vernon McGee writes this out. It's a great illustration, I think. It says, Goliath should have listened to this proverb. He paraded in front of an army of Israel every day, flexed his muscles, told them how great he was, and what a miserable bunch of cowards they were. Well, eventually he got in trouble with a boy named David. That speaks for itself. Out of the New Testament book of John, chapter 5, verse 44, it reads, How can you believe when you receive glory from one another, and you do not seek the glory that is from the one and only God? And this is a big deal here. Men look for the applause from other men, and of course meaning women. Men, generically speaking, men and women look for the applause of men, even in the church. In the case of some preachers, they don't want to tell the truth of the Word of God. They want the accolades of men. And I've seen situations, I'm not picking on preachers, but I've seen situations where the whole truth does not be spoken because they would rather have the accolades of men, the praise of men, rather than speaking the whole truth of the Word of God. Have you seen that? I certainly have. In the book of Philippians, do nothing from selfishness or empty conceit, but with humility of mind regard one another as more important than yourselves. That's Philippians 2:3. Do nothing from selfishness or empty conceit, but with humility of mind regard one another as more important than yourselves. Do we really need to be complimented and commended for everything we do? Do I expect to be complimented because, in my case, I got my freight to destination on time, even though I had to dodge some tornadoes? It's a true story. One time, after a rather stressful day of dodging tornadoes all day long, dispatch, are you going to get there in time? Are you going to get there in time? And my response was, well, I'm trying, but having to dodge these tornadoes is not exactly what I wanted to do today. Well, after all that, I did make it, got to the customer, got up at 4 o'clock the next morning, drove the short distance over to the place where I was to take this load, and lo and behold, the place where I was to unload got blown down in a tornado too. So, did I get a thank you for that? I told dispatch, guess what? This place blew down too. Well, all they said was, okay. And that was about the end of it. I didn't get a thank you for all that trouble that day. I didn't get a red carpet treatment, and that wasn't realistic anyway, was it? To expect that would be selfish and really empty, I think. Shallow is another word for it. Currently, I'm ministering to a loved one, a young man, about this very type of concept. It's really a process. It's sometimes I see improvement, sometimes I don't, but it's a long process. But God is in the business of changing our hearts. I've heard it said He changes lemons into lemonade. That's it for today, for Saturday. I pray the Lord blesses your day too, and look forward to being back tomorrow. God bless you.